But anyway, I guess for the final thing that we'll talk about today is the fact that Joe Biden has been widely recognized as the winner of the 2020 US election. 2 days ago, Reuters published a poll from Ipsos where they found that nearly 80% of Americans say that Biden won the White House and ignore Trump's refusal to concede. Apparently in the National Opinion Survey, which ran from Saturday afternoon to Tuesday last week, they found that 79% of US adults believed that Biden had won the White House, 13% had said the election had not yet been decided, 3% said Trump had won, and 5% said they do not know. That means that 82% of the US public are flat wrong about the results of their own elections.
Yep. And who's to blame?
Well, we'll get into that in a minute. Interestingly, the people who said the election has not yet been decided are the people who are correct, the 13%, and the 5% who say they do not know are not wrong. So they have not committed. So 18% of people are not flat out misinformed about the US election. Now, where are they getting this information from? That is the question. Well, the first thing, can we go to the next one, please? The first thing we can look at is the Real Clear Politics map, which I took literally an hour ago, this screenshot, and as you can see, Biden hasn't gone across that line. He hasn't reached the magical 270 number because if we can scroll down a little bit, please, John, you can see that there are a bunch of states that are still yet to be called. Was it Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania. Now, Trump is ahead in North Carolina. Arizona, was it Arizona? Oh, it was Wisconsin and Georgia are having recounts. Wisconsin is just still being called for Biden there, but they are having a recount. There are legal proceedings that are going on in these 4 contested states, and that was about it, actually. But the point is, these results have not yet been collected, and the answers haven't been given. So where are they getting the impression that Biden has won from, and where Biden is president-elect? Can we go to the next one, please?
I do have some breaking news which interferes with this story.
Oh, do you?
Yes. Real Clear Politics updated like 2 minutes ago
Right.
that Pennsylvania is now called for Biden.
Is it?
Ah.
Right, okay.
It doesn't prove your point wrong, though.
No. But, well,
because this only just happened, like, whilst we're streaming.
Yeah, but also, that's not enough, is it?
No, it's not over there, because I think there's a lawsuit or a recount there.
Yeah. How many electoral votes does he get from Pennsylvania?
Oh, does that give him enough electoral votes? I believe so, actually. 279 in total.
Right, okay.
So.
But yeah, as things are, they're still not over.
But
okay.
But that doesn't prove it wrong, the fact that up till this stream, 80% of the Americans are believing that Biden is the victor, when that just factually isn't the case. And I'm wondering, I'm not old enough to remember 2000 and the George Bush Gore fiasco. I know I've seen some newspaper headlines of the day saying Gore...
And quick correction, we said that Bush was the sitting president at the time. He wasn't. Thank you for pointing that out.
Oh, sorry, because he was winning the election.
Yeah.
I've seen some headlines from that time from newspapers saying, President Gore or Gore wins, that they then had to retract. But can you remember it? Were people openly thinking that Gore had won?
It was only after 2001 I became much more aware of politics, to be honest. Oh, right, yeah, so the update. Okay, well, we'll have to look into what's happening in Pennsylvania after we finish doing this. But the question is, why were people under such an inaccurate statement? Why did they think that the election had been called? Why did they think that Joe Biden was president-elect? I think the answer is quite obvious. If we go into slide 3, please.
Gonna have to update.
Yeah. As you can see, I did a Google search geographically for America. So this is the news articles that Americans are getting, and I searched for the last week, just before today. And as you can see, lots of news stations like local ones, WPVI TV or the New York Times, are saying things like, with President-elect Joe Biden, the long national nightmare is over. They just lied. They just keep saying President-elect, President-elect, President-elect. If we can go on to slide 4, please. Again, this is all just from the front page of this thing. Just President-elect, President-elect.
Did you see flipping through your phone, just looking at what's there?
Yeah, that's exactly what I did on my computer, but yeah, that's exactly it. And outside of traditional political
For
reporting.
up-to-date response, search President-elect Biden instead of just President Biden.
Oh no, that's stay up to date on election. That's
okay.
my search.
Oh,
And
sorry,
it's asking me
sorry. I
to
thought
create
Google
that.
were even trying to push
No,
that.
they probably are. But that's the thing. If you just look through all of these things, it's constant propagandizing by the media. They have lied. They have just continually lied. And I presume this, if we can go on to the next slide, this stems from the New York Times' desire to have the media be effectively the captain of the ship of state. As they tweeted out on the election night, the role of declaring the winner of a presidential election in the US falls to the news media. The broadcast networks and cable news outlets have vowed to be prudent. Here's how it will work. Well, it doesn't matter how you think it will work, New York Times, because that's not how it works.
Yep.
It gets called by the electors.
It's completely mask off, isn't it? It's like
Mask off.
we
completely.
believe we run the world.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. There is a formal process laid out by the Constitution. This is just total nonsense. There was massive backlash, obviously, by I presume it's.
You can see them getting ratioed in there.
Yes, you can absolutely see massively ratioed by that, because that's just not how it works. Because I mean that's just such a bizarre assertion, because the media is not an institution, as in like a single formal institution. The New York Times is a single formal institution. The institution of the media is broad, diffuse, and informal. You know, we talk about the media, and we know we're talking about journalists who broadcast takes, should we call them, to the world, and are taken as seriously as anyone.
But they're always of the same kind of narrative as well.
But it's not a homogenous group, and they don't have some sort of shared agreement, or they shouldn't.
They just so happen to fall into certain bounds.
Yes, and as we can see now, that there are genuine alternative facts that the New York Times themselves agree that these things might be true, but are still misinformation. And so it's not like we can trust any kind of consensus from the media on this anyway, even if it was the case that the media had some role in declaring who the winner was, which they don't. They've got a role of announcing it to the public, but they're not the ones who decide it. If we can get the next one up, please. The New York Times retracted their statement after getting horrifically ratioed, saying, correction, we've deleted an earlier tweet that referred imprecisely to the role of the news media in the US presidential election. The news media projects winners and reports results. It does not declare the winner of the election. Yes, imprecisely is the key word here. We might call it a flat-out lie.
Yeah, it's not actually a full retraction then, is it?
No. They're saying, well, we were just imprecise about this. No, you were flat wrong about this. The media does not declare the winner of the election. You were wrong, New York Times, is what you need to say. We wished we were in control of the society that we think we're in control of, that we think we can manipulate because of the particular facts that we present to you, even when it's outright lies, like headlines like President-elect Biden, which is an outright lie. And we saw New York Times headlines coming up in the Google results where they just call it President-elect Biden because it's essentially, and I don't mean to be uncharitable when I say this, but I would characterize that as a disinformation campaign, because it is.
It's actually the correct use of the word as well.
Exactly, it's the correct use of the word. It's not a fact. It's being reported as if it's a fact, and we have proof that it has misled the public. What Kevin Roose accused the right-wing media of doing while reporting on actual facts is what the New York Times has done.
The publication
reporting
he
on
works
fiction. Yeah, the publication he works for had done reporting on fiction. Absolute, flat-out lies. Total. There's no way to hold them to account. There is no way to hold them to account. At least not directly through any kind of legal means, it seems. There's a comment from a Cornell Law School professor in the Fox News article that covers this, William A. Jacobson, and he thinks they got carried away before issuing the correction. The Times seems to think it runs the country rather than reports on the country. A declaration by major news outlets as to the winner of a particular state is informal only, not an actual decision. That's correct. And so this dovetails nicely with another, if we can go for slide 7, please, another particular offence that the far-right general public have committed against the progressive news media. In Brian Stelter's view, Trump voters are flocking to a TV channel that claims Biden is not president-elect. So we can reframe this as Trump voters are flocking to a TV channel that tells them the truth.
Or just reflects reality.
Yes, that gives them factual information rather than the misinformation that CNN, the Wall Street Journal, and all New York Times, and presumably the Wall Street Journal and the Washington Post. I should have just got them just to give it a full flush,
We were in the car driving home from work yesterday. I think it was yesterday or the day before.
Yeah.
And I think it was LBC was saying, "Oh, President-elect Biden, Trump's got no information, no evidence." They were like, "Fucking." Went to talk radio. Same thing, which I think the BBC was. Same thing. I just went, "I'll stuff this." I pulled up my phone, and I'm weird, so I like to listen to a lot of propaganda songs from different countries.
Right.
Just because, okay.
Yeah.
So I literally started listening to government propaganda from like gone by regimes rather than listen to the mainstream media at this point.
How is it different?
It's not. It is not on that fact that you can literally just say a lie to try and change people's minds, and that's what you're doing.
Yep. So this new channel, I'd never heard of it before actually. It's called Newsmax, and during the election week, it averaged 182,000 viewers. It's a satellite news channel, and clearly Brian Stelter is very upset about the fact that Fox News also called Biden as president-elect. Which is why presumably people are like, well, hang on a second, that's not the case.
Wait, Brian Stelter's upset about Fox News doing that?
No, he's upset about Newsmax not doing that, and people flocking to Newsmax. Fox News, I guess, being controlled opposition at this point. But apparently they got 182,000 viewers during the election week, which then went up to 347,000 viewers, and some of them have gone up to 800,000 viewers. So it looks like a lot of Trump's base have actually been looking for actual facts and had to go to somewhere that isn't the mainstream media to get them. And this really means that the media is, let's go with the New York Times. Yeah, okay, let's say the media calls the election. That's pretty open. That means that anyone who can reasonably claim to be media, and surely the barrier to entry to that is just to have a broadcasting publication, means that you get to call the media. So if we can go for the next one, John. I think we should welcome and congratulate President-elect Alex Jones, who has declared himself the President-elect. He fulfills all the requirements.
He's got amazing numbers as well, doesn't he?
He has numbers similar to CNN, that's correct, as far as I'm aware. And he has a broadcasting organisation, which we can rightly term the media, whether you like it or not. Whether you and let's be honest, considering how factually inaccurate or devoid of factual content some of the stuff we've covered today is, I don't think that they should be casting stones in the glass house about who Alex Jones has been right about a fair amount recently, let's be honest. And so, Alex Jones is the president-elect by the criteria laid out by the New York Times, and I don't see how they could challenge it.
Hail to the chief. You are our commander.
Yes. Godspeed, sir.
Man, it's first 30 days in office. Could you imagine?
I think it would be hilarious. I mean, but the thing is, if Alex Jones becomes the president, isn't that going to ruin his career?
What do you mean?
Because his entire career is complaining the government's going to come and get you and put you in a FEMA camp. If he's in charge of the government...
He'll just have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, well, I didn't want to have to do it, but suddenly I'm here and the FEMA camps are there, and if I don't want to be a liar...
oh, boy.
I mean...
To be honest, I reckon he would be like, okay, what...
1776 will commence again. That's how it better be.
He'd call up the CIA and be like, give me everything you've got, and then just leak all the stuff that's bad, and they'd be like, I'm shutting down the CIA, and then, department by department, just getting rid of them.
I mean, that sounds great, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'd be very interested in seeing what comes out of that.
I might send this to Alex's team, see what he'd say. He should publish it. He should publish his first 30 days in office, what you do.
Yeah.
Be good.
Alex 2024. So...
But I got two things to say about those messages from the New York Times about the media. What I find very interesting is these outlets, whenever you mention the mainstream media or even use the term MSM, they get very touchy. What do you mean mainstream media? There's no such thing. You can't say this.
Did they say that?
Yeah. I remember BBC, ITV, I think I've seen CNN do it as well. Where it's like, well, what do you mean mainstream media? Because you're not all one thing. We all have disagreements and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, come off it. Because when you're talking about the media, or the mainstream media, you understand it. They understand the term. In which case, if you're able to understand it, why can't I?
Yeah, the New York Times can reference the media, who are
the media?
Well, I think we're the media, so we can call Alex Jones as well. So if Alex Jones has done it, we've done it. I wonder if any other independent media outlets would like to call Alex Jones as well. And maybe
you could call yourself now if you want.
No, not me. Alex, I
wouldn't want to stand in the way of President-elect.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't born in America, so... But, if that's the case, then why can't we get it trending? Alex Jones is one. Let's get it on every Google feed. Alex Jones elected president. He wasn't even on the ballot. How did this happen? Well, the media calls it, you see.
Yeah.
The media calls it. You just got to learn who's in charge.
But that's so it's such giving away the fact that they use the term the media, because they do not mean Alex Jones, they do not
mask
mean
off.
any other type of media except the mainstream. Those are in the acceptable bounds of discourse on satellite television.
It's a big club and you ain't in it.
Yeah. But it's also one of these things I find, you've been watching the coronavirus sometimes. The coronavirus meetings that Boris held. I'm sure Trump did the same, where you get these journalists that gaggle. And you can see how disrespectful they are to the politicians. And I'm not one for saying, oh, they should sit and just write down what he says.
No, they should challenge.
You don't want a Russian-style democracy. You want them to say, okay, you said this and now you're wrong, blah, 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 blah. All the rest of it. But what you don't want is just openly hostile for basically no reason and asking questions that they know the answers to endlessly to try and embarrass politicians. It's like, well, no one elected you. You're not running for office. Like, just present us the facts. Tell us what is false. That's fine.
But more importantly, what good are you doing there? You know?
Yep, absolutely.
Like, this is Jim Acosta. Must be feeling personally attacked right now. And this is presumably why Kayleigh McEnany is such a popular figure among Trump supporters, because she spends her time chewing the media out. And honestly, you love to see it. I'd love to see it.
I'm going to be so good.
Yeah,
I'm going to be so sad when she's gone.
Yeah, if he doesn't win this, I'm going to be genuinely gutted. Because...
DNA force pills.
Well, yeah, when are the Lotus going to start shilling DNA force pills?
Soon, I hope.
Yeah, well, presumably. We will actually be shilling something, but what we want to do is...
we don't know what.
Well, no, we do have something in the works, actually, but we both need to do it first. To make sure that it is the thing that we'll be selling.
What am I being signed up for here?
Well, you'll find out, won't you?
That doesn't... Where's my contract?
You'll find in the contract you'll have to do all these things. But no. It's going to be good stuff, I think. But yeah, we want to support people that we know and trust, basically, and who are trying to build up something of their own. Because we can't exactly rely on, advertisers from wherever else.
The moral kind of shilling, where you have something, you know it's good, or you know someone who's making something good.
Yeah, and where we can validate the amount of work someone's done, and we can see that something genuine is being created, something that demonstrates virtue, in fact. Dare I say such a word that's important? No, it's an important word.
No, I'm just thinking
we should use it.
You should write advertiser standards for the organization.
Must be virtuous.
No, but it's like the Aristotelian advertiser standards for the site. You must reach these rerequirements.
Maybe I should do something like that, actually.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm not joking, go for it.
No, I'm not even joking, yeah. We have advertising requirements, and it requires you to have achieved a state of eudaimonia.
Trying to think what wouldn't be included.
And then we can give them like vicious backhanders. It's like, oh, can we advertise on your site? It's like, no, we have evaluated you, and you count as a vicious publication. So you have the official mark of vicious publication. And we'll get others like, can we? And we'll, no, you're incontinent. You're an incontinent publication. And then we'll get others and say, well, no, you're good, but you're only continent.
Is this just you getting back at anyone? Like if they try and advertise BuzzFeed, and you're just like, no, fake news. Sorry.
Yeah, basically, no, vicious publication, incontinent publication. Continent publication is
weighty
gradient,
moral language.
but then a eudaimonic, virtuous publication at the top. We can do that actually, an Aristotelian grading system for these publications. I don't see why not.
Okay, so that's your afternoon sorted.
Yeah, it is actually.